Okay, so before we get started, I'd like to preface any criticism by saying that I don't think I'm being particularly clever here at all by picking this movie apart. Any sane film goer knows you don't go walking into an Eli Roth film expecting excellence. And I'm going to take that a step further even, actually, and say that any sane film goer doesn't go walking into an Eli Roth film, as in with the intention of paying. As in paying hard-earned money to see a movie. Well, that's what I did, and now I'm here to tell you all about it. So without any further postponement, let's dig in. As stated in my last video, I had been to see the latest horror film from genre-faithful Eli Roth, The Green Inferno, which, despite having premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival way back in 2013, is only just now seeing a wide theatrical release. As also stated in my last video, or at the very least alluded to, I don't think it was very good. At all. The film follows a group of young activists on their journey through the Peruvian Amazon to protest against the deforestation taking place in the region and its intrinsic effect on the native tribes that live there. After a supposed victory against the logging company responsible, they depart, only for the plane they were aboard to malfunction and subsequently crash into the forest where its inhabitants, the very people they were trying to protect, wish to, meet them? To those unaware, the film's conception came about from Roth's distaste at the propagation of what is the now routine form of online activism carried out primarily by teenagers and college-age students, under the youngins.
Green Inferno is the third film in what I would call my travel trilogy, with Cabin Fever and Hostel.
Oh, whoa, wait a minute. The third film in your travel trilogy? I don't have the best memory, Roth, but I do know that you made Hostel Part 2 before you made The Green Inferno, so isn't this your fourth film, technically? You know, maybe Roth's better at this horror thing than I'm giving him credit for, because the idea that I might know more about his own filmography than he does is just something that truly frightens me.
The kids in Green Inferno are these really smart New York City students. They're collectivists. They're on social media. They're social justice warriors. They're going to change the world with their phones, and they go into the Amazon to save the last uncontacted tribe. They're going to protect them. The moment in the movie where these kids are happiest isn't where they do a protest and shut down the construction, it's when they're trending on Twitter. That's the end game for these kids. And I think it's all BS. The film came about from what I saw in this trend of this lazy form of activism, this slacktivism. Everyone's like, if you don't tweet Free Pussy Riot, what's wrong with you? Don't you care about these girls? Oh, you must be against freedom of speech. People were getting so self-righteous and so angry over this thing that they knew nothing about 24 hours earlier.
In other words, he was probably browsing under the activism tag on Tumblr, and in an admittedly understandable fit of rage, he cranked out the script for this movie. I can't say I blame him. I think most of us find ourselves at a loss of words to properly express the all too stirring and immediate feelings that wash over us when we graze on that side of the internet. But with that in mind, one could argue, I don't know who or why, but they could technically argue that the film is a critique or commentary on activism today. The problem with that, though, is if it is taken as such, then it becomes a vapid and shallow spectacle, lacking any semblance of nuance or meaningful insight. Whereas if it is taken simply as a horror film, then it's just vapid and shallow. I'm going to be ignoring that aspect of the movie because it's just so poorly implemented anyway, and the commentary itself really doesn't amount to much outside of, I don't like these people, let's watch them get eaten.
I wanted to make a movie about these types of kids, these kids that aren't really interested in the cause. They want the shortcut. I am so sick of all of them. So I'm taking these people and I am baking them and I'm chopping them up and I'm eating them and I'm laughing at them. It's all BS.
Now on to how it fails as a horror film. For starters, Roth only seems to know how to write two kinds of people, assholes and idiots. It's also not uncommon for established idiots to become assholes or vice versa. Where contemporary horror films are concerned, this isn't something entirely unique to Roth, but he really turns the dial to 11 and amplifies the stupidity and annoyance of his characters to such a point that we as audience members are not able to perceive them as anything other than hastily written caricatures, meat for the grinder. For horror to have the best chance to work, we have to care about what happens to the characters, at least to some extent. We don't need to be able to relate to them entirely, or even like all of them, but we should at the very least see them as people. The characters that populate Roth's films are all superficial, arrogant, and selfish, except for when the script needs them to behave otherwise, in the hopes of being able to elicit some last-minute sympathy from a few of the less keen members in the audience. And it certainly doesn't help that all of the performances are overacted and consist mainly of shouting. In all fairness, I reserve placing too much of the blame on the actors when the material they're working with is as bad as it is. I doubt seasoned actors could make any of what's here sound much better. The coup de grace of Eli Roth pejoratives makes its return, and I am of course talking about yay!
Bert, what the hell is that?
Huh? Oh, gonna go shoot some squirrels.
Why would you want to kill squirrels?
'Cause they're gay?
Bert, don't be a fucking retard.
Kidding. I don't care if they're gay or straight. I'll kill them either way.
Is this like a date?
Don't be gay.
What are you doing? What? Do you see a single other person in here with a fucking fanny pack? Oh, wait, there's a guy. Why don't you go over and have fucking fanny pack sex with him, and then you can jizz all over each other's storage compartment?
Do you have any private rooms? We're probably gonna need them.
The rooms are semi-private, so you will have roommates.
Roommates, huh? That's scary. How the hell are we supposed to understand this without subtitles? Fucking gay.
It sounds kind of gay.
I said I was going to bypass the commentary in the film, but just to give you an idea as to how subtle and well handled it is, within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the film, we get this scathing blonde who is clearly acting as a mouthpiece to voice Roth's own opinions, and the one who we are supposed to be seeing as the most sensible, spouting out activism is gay. Criticism at its finest, ladies and germs. The lucidity of that statement just rattles me to my bones. My perspective has truly been broadened. Bravo, Roth, bravo. It becomes clear that Roth doesn't know how to criticize a given subject without having his characters just say what he feels. And this to me is a subject quite ripe for criticism, but instead of taking a more illustrative approach, he opts to stand on the old soapbox. Everything is gay. Something else Roth likes to boast about in regards to this film is how he went into the Amazon to shoot it. He stated he wanted the movie to look like a Werner Herzog or even a Terrence Malick film.
But I miss those films of the 70s. I miss the filmmaking of Werner Herzog, the way he did Fitzcarraldo, Aguirre the Wrath of God. I miss Apocalypse Now, when you go, oh my God, the people that made these movies, they went in the jungle and they lost their mind.
Unfortunately, he fails to fully take advantage of shooting in such an exotic location. Visually, it follows a very slipshod approach, with an over-reliance on shaky cam during the more horrific scenes and the occasional establishing shot thrown in while the group is being held at the tribe's village. Keep in mind, I saw this right after I saw Sicario, so going from the visual splendor of a film shot by the D to this dribble was quite jarring. Upon entering the forest, the movie just feels so hastily put together, and the production quality doesn't feel much better than what you'd see on a television show. Now, I want to give him some credit, because it's not like he had to go into the forest to shoot it, but at the same time, you can't just lug a camera into the Amazon and call it Fitzcarraldo. We are never given moments to take in the environment, as the camera mostly stays plastered on the actors' annoying faces. They may as well have just shot it in the park or something. Movies like Fitzcarraldo and Aguirre work because they have an ambience, an atmosphere to them. Green Inferno has no such thing. Even the way it handles its gore is quite unextraordinary. The centerpiece of the movie, and only those of you who have seen the film will get that that is a triple pun, is when the group is first abducted after their plane crashes. They are darted out and taken back to the village when this guy is given something to drink before they lay him down on a nice comfy rock to poke out his eyeballs and dismember him. From here it follows the same careless approach, shaky cam with a lot of quick cuts. Also, can I just say that this guy is an idiot? After they give him this stuff to drink, he actually thanks them.
Thank you.
I'm sure the natives who just shot darts at you, and actually before they did that, they killed one of your friends by shooting her with an arrow, darted you out, and have now dragged you back here, are caging your friends and giving you this stuff to drink. Their first interest is helping you. And hey, you know what? Just to get comfortable, he lays back down on the rock like, I'm just gonna kick back, just relax. Oh, thank you so much, I need this. And only when he notices that they're kind of holding him in place that, gee whiz, something's wrong here. Yow! After that, the deaths, which are, at this point, all the movie has left going for it, become increasingly bland. You can tell that the majority of the budget probably went to shooting on location and the dismemberment scene, because the rest of the movie is literally just them sitting in a cage, bickering amongst themselves, awaiting to get eaten. One girl dies off screen in an attempt to escape, another offs herself, and immediately afterward, the former leader of the group starts tendering his meat. Yeah, he starts masturbating, and they're like, what the fuck? And he's like, we need a way to release stress or it will kill us. What? The timing of it is just comical, but I can tell that the movie was more likely than not trying to be edgy or, God forbid, shocking. Really, really sloppy direction. Another instance of this that I can actually show you is towards the end, two of the remaining youngins are attempting an escape after they managed to get the tribesman that was watching them stoned off his ass. I'm not making this up, this isn't a joke. They get him so high that he actually falls out of a tree. Anyway, they get a ways away from the village and are sneaking around by the river when... What the hell? Does it look like, honestly, does that look like she was even trying to make that jump? You can tell that she was probably just told to, well, just jump in the river, plop in. It was just, whoop, into the river. What the fuck? Awful. Just awful. They are, of course, taken back shortly after, and then this guy gets bitten up by CG ants, and the river dweller is eventually able to make her escape. I'm summarizing a bit, but this is the general gist. It goes without saying that the movie takes more than a few cues from the infamous 1980 Italian film Cannibal Lawlocaust. While I wouldn't call either of these movies good, at least the latter follows through with its promise to be repulsive, if only because they actually killed a few animals on camera. Disclaimer, Yams and Ramblings is vegan, and as such, it upsets him greatly, as it does most people, to watch animals die unnecessarily. Back to the review. One really good thing about Cannibal Lawlocaust, though, is it's got a great soundtrack. I suppose my biggest problem with the Green Inferno is how unimaginative it is. From the writing to the cinematography, the score, and ultimately its execution, it feels like there was so much more that could have been done. You have this gore fiend for a director who is taking nods from a notorious exploitation flick and is shooting it in the Amazon with actual natives, but this was the end result. I struggle to think of many people who would genuinely enjoy this. Even if you love gore films, there are much better options out there than this. It's quite tame in my opinion, and while I'll admit that it is more graphic than your typical Hollywood horror film of the week, that's just not saying much. Go watch one of the guinea pig horror films instead. If you want your horror weird and gory, I doubt you'll be disappointed. Avoid this movie. It's not even bad enough to be funny. It's mostly boring. Rent it if you have to, or just wait for it to pop up on Netflix. You're not missing out on anything, I promise you. From one sicko to another, I give you my word. Don't watch it. Don't do it. As for the rating, I give this film a 3 out of 10. Thanks for watching, everybody. Now that I've gotten this turd out of the way, I can actually go and see something good. I want to go see Crimson Peak. Beasts of No Nation is on Netflix. I've been wanting to watch that all weekend, but I've been working on this damn video. So join me next time, and we'll probably be talking about something good. Till then, I thank you very much for your time, and as always, catch you later.